So if you look at all forms of communication and collaboration that you have within your enterprise today, there's plenty. You obviously have email, you got some sort of an IM client, link, same time, something. Then you have your audio video conferencing, WebEx, GoToMeeting. Then some sort of a collaboration software like SharePoint, or on top of that, another collaboration software like Yammer, Jive, and of course you have messaging, right? Now, interestingly, if you also start paying attention to how application interfaces have evolved, we used to use mainframes, and we've now evolved to a lot of mobile applications. But we predict messaging will actually be your new front end for everything that you do. Consumer stats already show that all of your customers are already using a lot of messaging apps. I mean, the average number of monthly active users across all the messaging apps out there is more than almost in the $2 billion user range, right? And so are your employees. It's not just your customers using messaging, but also your employees are using messaging. Why? It's simple, it's effective, it's to the point. You send a message to somebody, the recipient can quickly respond and then get back to you. Now, Core is going to actually provide you a universal messaging platform that is going to change the way you interact with people internally, as well as the way you interact with your customers externally, and not just with people, but with business systems as well. So let me show you, switch to the app. And I'm going to jump straight to showing you the mobile version of the application. We have the application running on mobile phones, of course, iOS, Android, but we also have it running on your desktop applications as a Windows application or a Mac application, or just simply running inside a browser. So whether it's an employee or a customer, they can seamlessly interact with, with any of the interfaces, regardless of whichever one they prefer. And it's an offline enabled app as well, so you could be doing messaging while you're not connected to the internet as well. So this is my interface. This is actually my view, my profile. So hopefully I'm not getting any messages as I'm going to demo here. But first of all, as a direct one-to-one communication form, I can actually sort of go to my messages here, and I can say, let me author a new message. So first of all, let's say as an example, I want to send a message to somebody within my company, right? Another banker maybe, or another employee within the branch, whatever the case may be. Now, let's say I want to send a message to David over here, and I've already been having a conversation with David. I can send him any kind of form of content, audio, video, images, files, location, contact cards, etc. But it's not just the content part of it. As I'm sending him messages, let's say I want to say something to him, okay? I can actually put policies on a message. Right? So let's say if I wanted to protect the message I'm about to send him, I can actually put policies on the message by saying, I want to control where and when this message gets delivered to David and where can he see it. I also want to control where he can actually access my message. Right? So let's say I want to make sure your proposal that I'm going to send you is only visible within your office. I can actually control where and when this access of the message is allowed. Right? I can also control the actions you can take on my message. I could say you cannot forward, you cannot copy, you cannot save, or you cannot even take a screen capture of my message. And I can be even further granular and say, I will allow you to forward only within your company or within your domain or to a certain set of people. I can actually even expire a message, right? And put an expiration on the message that I'm going to send you. So I can put all kinds of controls on a message as I send it to you. I can also simply use one of the templates available that my company could have given me saying, here's a template to use when I'm talking to customers, partners, employees, contractors, etc. Right? Now, let's say I want to send him this message. Notice that I was communicating with him earlier as well, right? And I'd put a policy on that message. But it's not just that I can put policies on a message, I can even trace and track a message. So for example, that proposal file I had sent him, let me see what he's been doing with it, as in, did he read the file that I sent him or not? For example, in this case, he has actually read it. Not just the fact that he read it, he actually sent it to 3 people. So let's say, in this case, he sent it to Akiko, Venki, and Robin. And if they had sent it to other people, I can actually see exactly where my message has gone and who's actually, seen it. Not just that, I could say, Venki shouldn't have got this message. So, I should have prevented David from being able to forward my message. I can actually recall the message, and it'll actually do a proper recall of the message from this person's view altogether. So imagine now communicating with your customers, sending them offers or sending them loan documents, statements, etc. You can now put policies on a message because it's not just me sending messages to employees of the company or the bank. Notice the second thread. I'm having a conversation with somebody with a Gmail account. This could be a customer, right? I can send them a message either to their phone number or their email address and be able to sort of communicate with them. Now that's just messaging. We also have the ability to do alerts and actions. So it's not just people communication, it's also system communication. So instead of me going to every single system, the systems talk back to me by bringing the system level alerts like Zendesk, Jira, Salesforce, etc. And let's say here is a Zendesk alert where I want to be notified of, let's say, this particular issue ticket that was open. It's not just the fact that I can actually get the alert, but I can take an action. I could go ahead and say, create a case for this particular alert in Salesforce because I want to report this for my sales team to follow up on this particular issue. So I can actually go ahead and take an action and submit this in Salesforce. The same thing is available for me to use in the context of teams. We have an idea around spaces and rooms. So while I'm using messaging for one-on-one or one-to-many communication, here I'm part of various spaces like sales, marketing, HR, product management, etc. If I go to one of these, let's say sales, I will see various sort of rooms within a space which are contextual conversations happening around various topics. I can actually go to, let's say, for example, if I go to core website, I would go to website request, and I will see various sort of posts in a given room, and the same concept of putting policies on individual messages, I can put policies on group messaging over here as well, or in the context of a space. Now, the same alerts that you saw earlier can be applied in spaces as well. So if I was a customer support team, I wanted to, as a team, receive alerts on customer sat issues. They could be brought into a room and made available to everybody within the room and take an action on it. Thank you.